My fiancé ghosted our couple's therapy session to get drinks with an old friend. The therapist and I had a productive solo session about red flags. When she finally showed up an hour late, the session was over and so were we. I, 32 male, proposed to my girlfriend of 4 years last September. She said yes. We set a date for next June. Everything seemed fine until about 2 months ago when things started feeling off. She became distant. Phone always face down. Late nights at work that never happened before. The usual warning signs that every guy ignores because he doesn't want to believe it. I suggested couples therapy. Not because I thought she was cheating, but because communication had broken down and I figured professional help couldn't hurt before we tied the knot. She agreed, though she didn't seem enthusiastic about it. We found a therapist who had availability on Thursday evenings. $175 per session, which I paid for since I made more. First session went okay. Surface level stuff, getting to know us as a couple. Second session got a little deeper. The therapist noticed my fiancée deflected a lot when asked direct questions about her feelings toward the relationship. Third session was yesterday. This is where everything imploded. The appointment was at 6 p.m. I left work early, grabbed coffee, and arrived at 5:50, sat in the waiting room. 6 p.m. came, no fiancé. I texted her, "Hey, I'm here. You on your way?" 6:05 p.m. Response: "Running a few mins late. Start without me." Weird, but okay. The therapist called me in. I explained my fiancé was running late. She nodded and said we could begin with some individual reflection. 6:15 p.m. Still no fiancé. I texted again, "Everything okay?" Response: "Yeah, just grabbing drinks with an old friend real quick. Lost track of time. Be there soon." I stared at my phone, read it twice, then showed it to the therapist. "She's getting drinks," I said, "during our couple's therapy session that she knew about for 2 weeks." The therapist, to her credit, kept her expression neutral, but I could tell she was mentally taking notes. "How does that make you feel?" she asked. "Like I'm not a priority. Is this a pattern?" And that's when something clicked. Because yeah, it was a pattern. The canceled dinner plans because her co-worker needed to vent. The birthday party she showed up an hour late to because she ran into someone at Target. The vacation planning she kept pushing off because she was too busy, but somehow had time for 3 brunches with her college roommate in 1 month. For the next 45 minutes, the therapist and I had what she called a productive individual session. We talked about patterns, red flags, and what I actually wanted from a partnership versus what I was getting. At 6:58 p.m., 2 minutes before the session ended, the door opened. My fiancé walked in, looking flushed, smelling faintly of wine. "Hey, sorry, traffic was insane. Did I miss much?" The therapist looked at me. I looked at my fiancé. "The session's over," I said. "What? No, we still have time." "It ends at 7. You're 2 minutes early for a 6 p.m. appointment." She laughed nervously. "Okay, drama queen. So I was a little late. It's not a big deal." The therapist interjected gently. "Actually, we used the time productively. Perhaps we can discuss this dynamic in our next session." "Dynamic? What dynamic?" My fiancé looked between us. "What did you tell her?" "That you prioritized drinks with a friend over our scheduled therapy appointment." "It wasn't like that. I ran into him accidentally and—" "Him?" She stopped. Her face went through about 7 expressions in 2 seconds. "An old friend from college. It's not what you're thinking. I'm thinking you skipped our therapy session to get drinks with a guy. I'm thinking you lied about running late when you were actually sitting at a bar. I'm thinking this is exactly the kind of thing we're supposed to be working on in therapy, and you couldn't even show up." The therapist excused herself to give us the room. Professional move. My fiancé immediately went on the offensive. "You're overreacting. It was one time. I said I was sorry." "You didn't actually say sorry. And it's not one time, it's a pattern." "Oh, so now you're the expert because you had one solo session?" "I'm the expert on my own relationship, yeah." She crossed her arms. "What do you want me to do? Grovel? Fine. I'm sorry I was late. Happy?" Not really. We drove home separately. She'd taken her own car, which now made more sense. Convenient for stopping at bars on the way to therapy. That night, she tried to act like everything was normal, made small talk about her day, asked what I wanted for dinner. I rocked the whole conversation. Finally, around 10 p.m., she snapped, "Are you seriously still mad about this?" I'm reconsidering the engagement. The silence that followed was deafening. You're what? I'm reconsidering whether I want to marry someone who can't prioritize our relationship for 1 hour a week. Over being late to therapy? Over a pattern of behavior that shows me where I rank in your priorities. She started crying, called me controlling, said I was blowing things out of proportion, said all couples have issues and I was looking for an excuse to leave. I didn't argue, just said I needed time to think and slept in the guest room. This morning she left for work without saying goodbye. I've spent the day going through our finances, making sure everything's separated properly. We don't share accounts, thankfully. The apartment's in my name, lease signed before she moved in. The engagement ring was my grandmother's, so that's coming back regardless. I haven't officially ended things yet, but I know I'm going to. That session with the therapist was more productive than anything we'd done as a couple in months. Because for the first time, someone else saw what I'd been excusing. Her being late wasn't the problem. Her being late and not caring was the problem. Anyway, that's where I'm at. Engaged, but probably not for long. Update 1, 4 days later. Didn't expect this to blow up. Thanks for all the comments and DMs. Some of you are way too invested in my life, and I appreciate it. So here's what happened since Thursday. Friday morning, I woke up, and she was already gone. Left a note on the kitchen counter. "We need to talk tonight. Please don't make any decisions until we do." I spent the day at work barely functioning. My buddy noticed something was off, and I gave him the cliff notes. His response, "Bro, she skipped therapy to get drinks with another dude? That's not a red flag, that's a red banner." She came home around 7 p.m., brought takeout from my favorite Thai place, peace offering, I assumed. We sat down. She took a deep breath and launched into what was clearly a rehearsed speech. "I know I messed up Thursday. I should have been there. The truth is, I've been struggling with the idea of therapy because it feels like admitting our relationship is broken. When I ran into my friend, it felt easier to avoid the session than to face our problems. That was wrong." I listened, didn't interrupt. "I want to make this work. I love you. I want to marry you. Please give me another chance." "Who's the friend?" She blinked. "What?" "The friend you got drinks with. Who is he?" "Just someone from college. We studied together." "Name?" "Why does that matter?" "Because you've never mentioned him before, and you chose him over our therapy session." She got defensive fast. "Are you seriously interrogating me right now?" "I'm trying to apologize and you're acting like a detective. I'm asking a simple question. His name is not relevant. What's relevant is that I'm here, trying to fix things, and you're focused on some random guy." That answer told me everything. I stood up. "I think we should take a break." "A break? Are you kidding me? I need space to figure out what I want." "You need space because I was late one time? I need space because you can't even tell me who you were with." She started crying again. Different tears this time. Angrier. "You're going to throw away 4 years because you're paranoid about a college friend." "I'm not paranoid. I'm observant. There's a difference." She grabbed her keys and left. Slammed the door hard enough to rattle the pictures on the wall. Texted me 20 minutes later. "Staying at my sister's. Hope you're happy." I didn't respond. Saturday was quiet. I started making lists. Things that were mine, things that were hers, things we'd bought together. The furniture was mostly mine from before she moved in. Kitchen stuff was split. The TV was a gift from her parents, so she could have that. Sunday afternoon, her sister showed up at the apartment. I'd met her plenty of times. She was usually friendly, not this time. "What the hell is wrong with you?" "Hello to you too." "My sister is devastated. She made one mistake and you're ready to throw everything away. Did she tell you what the mistake was? She said she was late to therapy. That's IT. And now you're acting like she cheated on you. She skipped therapy to get drinks with a guy she won't name. That's not being late. That's making a choice. The sister paused. What do you mean she won't name him? I asked who she was with. She wouldn't tell me. Something flickered in her expression. Doubt, maybe. She didn't mention that part. I'm sure she didn't. The sister left shortly after, less aggressive than when she arrived. I'd planted a seed. Monday morning, I got a text from my fiancée. We need to talk face to face. Can I come over tonight? I agreed. Whatever was coming, I wanted to get it over with. She showed up at 6 p.m. No takeout this time. She looked tired. I owe you an explanation, she said. Okay. The guy I got drinks with. His name doesn't matter, but I'll tell you anyway. We dated briefly in college, before you and I met. It was nothing serious. You got drinks with your ex during our therapy session. He's not really an ex. We went on like 4 dates. You skipped our therapy session to get drinks with someone you used to date. When you say it like that, that's what happened. She exhaled. Fine. Yes, I made a bad choice, but nothing happened. We just talked. I hadn't seen him in years and he was in town and I made a stupid, impulsive decision. Why didn't you just tell me that Thursday? Because I knew you'd react like this. Like what? Like someone who deserves honesty from his fiancée? Like someone who assumes the worst. You lied to me. You said you were running late when you were at a bar. You said it was an old friend when it was an ex. How am I supposed to trust anything else you say? She didn't have an answer for that. The conversation went in circles for another hour. She apologized but kept defending her decision to hide the truth. I asked for the engagement ring back. She cried, called me cold, said she couldn't believe I was doing this. I told her she had until the end of the week to get her stuff. She left wearing the ring, said she needed to think about it. That was yesterday. Haven't heard from her since, but I've heard plenty from others. Her mom called this morning, left a voicemail about how I was destroying her daughter's life over a minor misunderstanding. Deleted it. Her best friend texted calling me a control freak who never deserved her anyway. Blocked. My phone's been interesting, but here's the thing. I'm not angry anymore. I'm sad, yeah. 4 years is a long time, but I'm also relieved. Because that session with the therapist made me realize I'd been making excuses for years. The lateness, the deflection, the way she always made her choices sound reasonable until you actually thought about them. I deserve someone who shows up, literally and figuratively. Ring's still with her. We'll see how that goes. Update 2, 10 days later. Quick update because things accelerated fast. After my last post, she went radio silent for 3 days. No texts, no calls, no showing up at the apartment. Her sister reached out once asking if I was really serious about this, and I confirmed yes. That was it. Then Thursday happened. I came home from work to find her car in the parking lot. She still had a key, which I'd been meaning to address. When I walked in, she was sitting on the couch with a guy I'd never seen before. What's going on? She stood up. This is my brother. I'd met her brother at holidays. This was not her brother. That's not your brother. The guy stood up too. Tall, looked about our age, uncomfortable energy. I'm the guy from the bar, he said. I wanted to come explain things, clear my name. I almost laughed. You came to my apartment to clear your name? Nothing happened between us, he said. She's telling the truth. We just got drinks and talked about old times. I didn't know she was engaged until she mentioned it at the bar. She wasn't wearing her ring? He glanced at her. She glanced at the floor. I don't always wear it, she muttered. My fingers swell. Your fingers swell. At bars, with ex-boyfriends. The guy held up his hands. Look, I don't want to be in the middle of this. I just wanted you to know it was innocent. Then why did she lie about who you were? I don't know. Ask her. I looked at my fiancée. Why did you lie? Because I knew you'd overreact. You keep saying that, but every time you protect me from overreacting, you make things worse. The guy excused himself. Smart move. Awkward as hell to stand in someone's living room while their relationship implodes. After he left, she turned on me. I brought him here to show you there's nothing to worry about, and you're still acting like I did something wrong. You brought your ex to my apartment without telling me. To help. To ambush me with a character witness I didn't ask for. She threw her hands up. I can't win with you. Nothing I do is right. You could have told the truth from the start. That would have been right. The truth is, I got drinks with someone. That's it. You're making this into something it's not. You lied, multiple times, about multiple things. The truth stopped being simple the moment you started hiding it. She grabbed her purse. Fine. You want your ring? Here. She yanked it off and threw it at me. Literally, threw it. I caught it, which felt like catching a grenade. We're done, she said. I can't be with someone who doesn't trust me. You can't be with someone who doesn't accept being lied to. There's a difference. She stormed out. Door slam number 3 in 2 weeks. The neighbors probably think we're filming a reality show. That was a week ago. Since then, I've changed the locks, boxed up her remaining stuff and left it with her sister, blocked her number after she sent a string of texts alternating between, I miss you, and you'll regret this. Her mom called one more time. This time I answered. You've broken my daughter's heart, she said. She broke her own heart by lying. I just responded appropriately. Over drinks with a friend. This is insanity. Over lies about drinks with an ex, and the pattern of behavior that made those lies predictable. What pattern? Ask your daughter about every time she's been late, every plan she's canceled, every excuse she's made. Then ask yourself if she's ever once taken responsibility without deflecting. Silence. Then, you're twisting things. I'm describing them. Twisting is what she does. She hung up. Haven't heard from any of them since. The therapist, interestingly, reached out. Said she doesn't usually do this, but wanted to check in given how the session ended. I told her the short version. She said something that stuck with me. The session was productive because you were ready to see what was already there. Some people never get to that point. She offered a few more individual sessions if I wanted them. I might take her up on it. Not because I'm broken, but because apparently I've spent 4 years not seeing clearly, and I'd like to fix that before the next relationship. Final update, 3 weeks later. This will probably be my last post unless something dramatic happens. The apartment is fully mine again. Changed the locks, deep cleaned, donated a bunch of stuff to Goodwill that reminded me of her. Kept the furniture because I'm not made of money. The ring is back in my family's possession. My mom was relieved. She'd never said anything negative about my ex while we were together, but apparently she'd had concerns for a while. You were always making excuses for her, she said. I didn't want to interfere, but I'm glad you figured it out. Moms know. The therapist and I did 2 more sessions, individual ones. We talked about patterns, not just hers, but mine. Why I stayed with someone who consistently deprioritized me. Why I made excuses. Why it took a stranger in a waiting room to make me see what was obvious. Turns out I have some stuff to work on too. Not surprising. Nobody's perfect. I heard through mutual friends that my ex has been telling people I was emotionally abusive and controlling, that I dumped her over nothing and refused to hear her side. The narrative is predictable. A few people believed her. Most didn't. The ones who know me know better. Her sister sent one final text last week. For what it's worth, I talked to her about what you said, the pattern stuff. She got defensive, which told me everything. I'm sorry for showing up at your apartment like that. You didn't deserve how this went. I appreciated that. Didn't respond, but appreciated it. The ex herself hasn't reached out since I blocked her. Her mom's number is blocked too. Clean break. Work's been busy, which helps. My buddy's been dragging me to watch basketball games at his place, which also helps. I'm not ready to date yet, probably won't be for a while, but I'm not sad about being single. I'm relieved. For 4 years, I was with someone who made me feel like I was asking too much by wanting basic honesty, who treated my time like it was less valuable than hers, who, when caught in a lie, blamed me for making her lie. That's not love. That's not partnership. That's just two people sharing space while one of them checks out. The Thursday that everything fell apart, I sat in that therapist's office alone and finally let myself admit what I'd been avoiding. The relationship was already over. She just hadn't bothered to tell me. Her skipping the session wasn't the end. It was the symptom. The end had been happening slowly, invisibly, every time she chose something else over showing up for us. I'm glad I finally saw it, even if it took a no-show and a solo therapy session to get there. To everyone who's been following this mess, thanks. Writing it out helped more than I expected. If you're in a relationship where you feel like an option instead of a priority, pay attention to that feeling. It's usually right. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a couch that's finally just mine to enjoy. Peace.